Personal narrative. A personal narrative essay is about a personal experience, so you should write it in the first person. A personal narrative is a story about yourself, and great personal narrative essay topics include experiences you've had, people you know, your reactions to books or other writing, and other options.
Many other options. Okay. Do you know what is the meaning of narrative?
Does that mean like writing?
It
Or-
means no. Narrative means story.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
personal narrative means personal story. Means something that happened in your life, which
Okay.
include you. So a personal narrative essay is basically, as it is your story, it is about your personal experience. So it should always be written in first person. First person like pronounced like I, we, us, our. These should be used. These are first person pronouns. So these should be used because you're writing your own story.
Yeah.
The topic could be anything. Anything like, for example, you went on a trip with your friends, for example, camping. So you're writing about the entire journey, the ups and downs, what happened, did something bad, like some problem arose, were you able to solve it? You know, maybe you read a book, how that book influenced you. So a personal narrative could be on any topic that is important in your life. Any
Okay.
issue till now? Shall we proceed?
Yeah.
Wonderful. No, not this. Read this.
Tips for a personal narrative with impact.
Hmm.
Know your reader. Think about who will be reading this personal essay and what that person will feel. Write to have an emotion impact on the reader.
Hmm.
Tell a story that includes emotion and provokes an empathetic response. Include a lot of references to sensory perceptions and
Hmm.
emotions. Sensory details like this connect the other to the
To the
other
reader, connect the reader.
to the reader to the scene you are describing. Use vivid details and imagery.
Imagery.
The
Hmm.
more specific you are in your description, the better the reader will be able to picture the story you are telling.
So these are some important tips that you should keep in mind while writing any type of writing. I'll not say just narrative, I will include descriptive writing also in that.
Yeah.
So know your reader, think about who will be reading. You know, a lot of times students write and the other person who is reading doesn't feel connected. If a person is not connected, that person will not enjoy your story or for that matter grade you good mark. So,
Um,
you know,
yeah.
write it, make it relatable, something that's possible. Secondly, emotional impact. Write about your feelings. For example, you're talking about your first experience when of a debate competition. So write about the normal feeling, you know, when you were walking towards the podium, you were anxious, there were butterflies in your stomach, something realistic. Always when it went off, you were getting calm, and then you were confident. You emerged as a as a good your oratory skills were excellent. You know, always write about emotions. That's very important. When you write about emotions, the other person who's reading it gets connected. Thirdly, sensory perception means setting. Wherever your story is taking place, describe that place. If, for example, your story is about camping with your friends, okay, then write about the forest. Write about the forest, describe the forest, make it good. You must be aware of literary devices like simile, metaphor, personification. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so use them as sentences, it makes beautiful sentences. So these are some things. If you will include all the things above, it will make your writing even more colorful and will add more element to it. Okay. So three things you need to keep in your mind. Any problem till here?
No.
Okay, wonderful. Now let's read about the structure.
Structure of personal narrative. The opening of the essay needs to let the reader know the essence of what you will be describing and your point of view. Your introduction paragraph should also capture the reader's attention with something dramatic. The body of the story needs to give the reader a very clear idea of what happened and how you, the author, feel about that. You can tell the story chronologically, or the facts may be grouped by importance or type. The final paragraph needs to wrap up and state the point of the story. Whether it is a lesson, an idea, or just a learning experience, take a look at some conclusion examples for inspiration. Before you begin writing, take some time to brainstorm and jot down a few notes. Then create an outline to help your essay stay on topic.
So basically, it's the opening of the essay. We call it introductory paragraph. We call it introduction, which is common for almost all the essays. You begin with introducing the topic. Make sure that your introduction is interesting. Okay, begin it with a hook line. Tell me something, Gayatri. Do you watch movies or series? Anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you watch? Movies or series?
Movies.
Movies. For example, you're watching a movie and 15-20 minutes, you didn't understand a thing. It seemed boring to you. You are not getting what the plot is and anything. Will you still continue watching it or you'll stop it and move on to something interesting?
Move on to something interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Why to waste your time when you can't understand anything? Why to waste every minute is precious.
Yeah.
Similarly, if your introduction, if your beginning will be boring, it is not keeping the audience, the reader hooked. It's considered a boring and you'll start losing marks there. So make sure your introduction, in your introduction paragraph, the reader should make out what you are talking about. What's the topic, what the reader has to expect. So that's very important. Second is, now comes the body. Body means detailed events, what happened in your story, how it happened. So write it in a correct order. Chronologically means in a correct order, so that it makes sense. If you write, what happened in the last, in the middle, then what are you talking about? It's not clear, so it becomes very confusing. So write it in correct order, the order in which it happened. Then the last paragraph is all about your conclusion. It could be anything, what you learned, how was it as a learning experience, what lesson did you learn, what idea did you got, how it changed you as a person, just reinstating your point. Whatever you have written, just reinstating that. And before you do all this, take some time to brainstorm. Just think about the ideas. What are you going to write? Because that's also very important. Because when you start writing, you are not able to at random think of a lot of things. So do the brainstorming. It will make your writing easier. Understood?
Yeah.
Now let's see this. Please read.
Tips for writing the narrative. Writing a good narrative essay requires you to include interesting information in an engaging way. Record yourself telling the story. That will help you organize your story and make the writing flow. Include anecdotes. Anecdotes to dialogue in the essay. Think about what people in the story actually said and did. Use transformation words to connect sentences such as therefore, however, or for example. Vary the structure of your sentences to make the writing more interesting. Try adding some compound sentences, complex sentences, or
Interrogative sentences.
Make the words lively, descriptive, exciting, active, emotional, and precise. Work to say exactly what you want to say in the best way possible. When you're done, read the essay and highlight anything that might not be necessary to